So in yoga, since I told you I've been teaching for 20 years, the goal of yoga, one of the goals is to create a union with God or the infinite intelligence of the universe. That's the main goal. But the other goal of yoga is to direct and focus mental activity.
Mhm.
So how well are we doing that as a society? Directing and focusing our own mental activity. Some of us have a handle on it. Some of us have been practicing this awareness of our thinking for a while. And most people don't. Most people are running on autopilot, or what you would call through the subconscious mind. And so they're not aware of their thoughts. They're not aware of their thinking. They're not managing any of that. So what I teach people is to recognize those thoughts and then see if they line up with reality.
But I am the world's biggest super fan.
You're like a super fan.
Welcome to the Business Superfans Podcast. We will discuss how establishing business superfans from customers, employees, and business partners can elevate your success exponentially. Learn why these advocates are a key factor to achieving excellence in the world of commerce. We discuss the invaluable insights of business owners who have successfully implemented the strategies in the book to build their own team of devoted superfans. Gain insightful knowledge from the experts who create applications that help you create passionate superfans. This is the Business Superfans Podcast with your host, Freddy D.
Freddy! Lisa Kneller is an accomplished coach and consultant dedicated to helping individuals navigate life's challenges and achieve their full potential. With extensive experience in guiding clients through career transitions and personal development, Lisa empowers people to leverage their unique strengths and capabilities. Her expertise shines especially in women in the later stages of life, embracing their days with purpose, passion, and a positive outlook, nurturing their mind, body, and spirit. Her talent lies in guiding women to pause and reflect on a journey of their lives, enabling them to tap into their inherent wisdom and creativity. As the founder of Lisa Kneller Coaching, she provides a variety of valuable resources, including guides and tools tailored to support life transitions and mental well-being. Lisa is also the host of My Golden Life podcast, where she shares insights on mind management and personal growth. Her work has garnered significant appreciation from her clients who laud her ability to instill confidence and inspire positive change. Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the Business Superfans Podcast. How are you today?
Hi, Freddie. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Likewise. So tell me how you started Lisa Kneller Coaching. Tell me about that. And how did you get to that point in life?
Can I start a little bit further back?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Tell me. That's what I meant. How did you get to there? So
Yeah. My early career was in advertising, and I decided after about 6 years of that to stay home with my first child. And then I had a second child, and then I just decided to keep staying home. And I was a stay-at-home mom for a very long time. While I was a stay-at-home mom, I got a lot of experience in direct sales, never really being successful in direct sales, but learning a ton of skills doing that. And I also did a little substitute teaching. And in 2003, I started teaching yoga. So yoga became a passion of mine. And so I had this mind, body, spirit background. So I did that for 15 to 20 years before I started my job at the age of 59. So I got a job at Grand Canyon University as an enrollment counselor. It was my first job since I was in my early 30s.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
that must have been a whole new experience.
It really was. It was scary, and I wasn't sure I wanted to be there, but now I'm so glad I did that, because what happened at Grand Canyon was that as a benefit of being an employee there, we got to go to school. And I already had my bachelor's degree, and I knew I didn't want an MBA. I wasn't going to climb a corporate ladder or anything like that. So they offered a graduate certificate of completion in life coaching, and it was 4 courses designed to introduce you to coaching from an academic standpoint, from a research standpoint. And what I learned in that program was that coaching was a bona fide profession. It was backed by research, psychology research. And so I had a lot of confidence, in the coaching industry right from the get-go.
Well,
So
yeah,
I did that
you-
program, and then I supplemented that with another coaching program and started getting coached myself. And I fell madly in love with the industry. I just felt coaching is mostly mindset work. And with my mind, body, spirit background, it was a perfect fit for me. So that's how I got it.
If you think about coaching, everybody needs coaching. You look at sports teams, right? They would be nowhere without a coach. The coach is the leader that puts the team together, gets everybody going in one direction and on the same page with the same vision. It's the same thing with an individual. Sometimes they got to get themselves out of their own way, and they need to be able to talk to somebody or someone to guide them. So coaching is very important. You look at every successful executive, sports person, movie star, etc. They've all got coaches. You got acting coaches for movie stars. You've got business coaches for the most successful businesses. They all got coaches. So it's very important.
Yeah, and I call it the other side of mental health, because when you work on your thinking and your mind, you're really creating a healthier environment in which to thrive, right? There's the therapeutic side of mental health where people are healing from trauma and they're going through processes which help them go from non-functioning human beings to functioning better.
Sure.
And then pick it up from there and help people move further along with their goals and things like that. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, you get to the point too where you get self-doubt. You had failures, and sometimes it's difficult to pick yourself back up because now your mind is going to play games on you. And we're our worst critics mentally. We criticize ourselves more than other people criticize ourselves, right?
Yes.
So it's important to have somebody like yourself to help people pull themselves out of their own funk, because by yourself, you're your own self enemy.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just listening to a workshop literally minutes ago, and there were a couple people talking about how they would run into people at the gym or at the grocery store or whatever, and they would hear them say some self-deprecating thing, something that was cutting themselves down. And then these people were like, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to talk like about yourself. So yeah, that's rampant in our society.
Oh, yeah.
Self-talk.
Negative self-talk is mind-boggling, but it's self-defeating
Yeah.
because it perpetuates your own delusional reality, for lack of a better way, but probably an accurate way, is you get caught up in the delusion that you're not worthy, you don't belong, you're this, you're that, and you need someone to snap you out of it.
Exactly.
So tell
Yeah.
me more about, you say specialize in mind management, or what do you call it?
Yeah, that's what I call it. Mind management.
Okay. Mind
Yeah,
management.
man. So you want me to talk more about that, which is a passion of mine. So in yoga, since I told you I've been teaching for 20 years, the goal of yoga, one of the goals is to create a union with God or the infinite intelligence of the universe. That's the main goal. But the other goal of yoga is to direct and focus mental activity.
Mhm.
So how well are we doing that as a society? Directing and focusing our own mental activity. Some of us have a handle on it. Some of us have been practicing this awareness of our thinking for a while. And most people don't. Most people are running on autopilot, or what you would call through the subconscious mind. And so they're not aware of their thoughts. They're not aware of their thinking. They're not managing any of that. So what I teach people is to recognize those thoughts and then see if they line up with reality. And if they don't line up with reality, we need to reframe, we need to rethink, we need to choose a different thought, especially if the thought is unhelpful, damaging, hurting, that kind of thing, or not letting you get anywhere. One of the ways we do that is by self-talk, recognizing what language are we using to describe ourselves.
Very important. Very important.
So you could write a whole document on that. Who am I? Who am I being? Who am I at my core? And we use language to create ourselves. We use language to create others in our relationships. And we use language to create other things as well.
Like in business.
Right?
Yeah, language in business, very important. Mindset in business is really everything.
Yeah. And I like the reason I use mind management over mindset is because mindset, that can either be a negative or it could be a positive, right? Like your mindset could be really inflexible. You could tend to be someone who looks at things with the glass half empty or the glass half full. But there's more to it than that. And that is a really intricate relationship with yourself and your language. That's the way I see it. And then your awareness, and then you're deciding what to do with.
So, like in a business environment, a leader that may not be in a right place mentally needs really to apply some mind management because it's going to transcend to the team, and that's going to transcend the prospective and existing customers, right? So they need to basically do a reset so that they minimize, everybody has bad days, everybody goes through issues. They really need to be trained on how to say, okay, this is what happened. I got to put that aside because I got a job to do.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up about leaders because here's another quote I heard recently, and that is, a leader's job is to stay encouraged. And when I think about that, I know I'm a leader. I'm like you, I'm a podcaster, and I'm building a business and leading and guiding people into their better versions of themselves. And so there's times of discouragement, as there are times when you're climbing the mountain and you slip back a little.
Or a lot.
Right? Or a lot. And maybe you're not making your goals, or you haven't had a sale in a long time, or whatever the downer might be. And you have to have conversations with yourself. And if you can't find the encouragement within yourself, then you've got to surround yourself with people like you, like Tab, like other people that can encourage you. So I have my own coach, right? And in fact, that's where I got the quote, was from him. He got it from his pastor. And so when he heard that quote, and my coach is a very upbeat guy. He's just really always in a positive framework. And I know all I got to do is call up Eric and say, give me some encouragement, Eric.
You bring up a very important topic, Lisa, and the fact that, let's put that into a business aspect, is, okay, people have negative self-talk, okay? Let's say you got your workforce, your team, and there's friction, mental friction in an office. People don't get along. I say an individual's perception, right or wrong, is their own reality. And that's the truth. And you may perceive that someone thinks this of you, but that's your mind. Again, we're talking about mind management. Your mind is making up all this negative crapola about this other person. That's your perception, which could be completely way out of whack. So now that causes a negative environment in the office, right? And so now when those people are talking to prospective customers, not customers yet, prospective customers, that tonality, that energy comes across in a negative way, they're going to push those people away. Whereas if you got a good mindset, you managed it well, and now you got an upbeat attitude, you feel great, you talk to a customer, your tonality, your energy is different, you're going to transform those existing customers or prospective customers into super fans, because you're going to say, wow, that person's really fired up. This sounds like a great company. It comes across.
Definitely comes across. It definitely comes across. Yeah, you have to keep a handle on it. With regard to having perception about other people, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg when you look at another person and you see how they behave. You don't know what their life has been like. You don't know what their morning's been like. You don't understand their personality probably. And that's a whole other area of study, is understanding your own personality. I'm a big fan of self-study. And learning about your own tendencies and idiosyncrasies or whatever you want to call them. And then also like being able to look at other people on your team and know that we're all made of the same stuff. We just all have different experience and we respond differently. So we do have to bring an element of grace, I think, to our business and to our interactions with other people.
Okay, let's continue on the work environment. What can leaders do from a mind management perspective if they notice that, okay, let's say two team members are not getting along, okay? This happens, this is real world stuff. And a lot of it is perception. This one thinks of that. This one person doesn't like me, so they're out to get me. The other person says that person doesn't like me, they're out to make me look bad. How can the leader use mind management to help neutralize those perceptions of those two individuals in a work environment? I know, a heavy question, but
It's a heavy question because I'm not really trained in the corporate team coaching kind of thing. But what I've learned in psychology and or like even therapy, just from studying a little bit of the therapy, my daughter's a psychotherapist, things is that and one of the goals I think should be, here's what it's like to be me, like in any relationship. It could be a work relationship, it could be a romantic relationship or whatever. So give the opportunity on a team, in a corporate team, for example, to say, here's what it's like to be me. Here's the way I see things. Here's the way I perceive things. This is the way I like to do them. And then you have to find the other person perspective as well. What's it like to be him or her? And then try to find a way to, I don't know, compromise, just, I think, gain better understanding of each other's personalities. It's why I study the Enneagram, because the Enneagram helps people understand their own tendencies, their own passions, their own darker side, if you will, shadow side. And when you have a deeper understanding of who you are and who the people are around you, you develop more compassion for those people. And it is up to the leader to learn some of those things. A lot of corporations use Myers-Briggs test, DISC, and those kinds of profile testing to help their teams figure those things out. I don't know.
Oh, you just nailed it. You nailed it. Because that's really the bottom line is, like you just said, getting those individuals to understand each other and their mechanics. And like I say, perceptions are an individual's own reality, right or wrong. And most of the time, like 90% of the time, it's wrong. Think of the fact that I'll just use dating. Okay, it has nothing to do with business, but it's reality. You go out on a date with somebody and then you don't hear from them for a couple of days. Your mind goes where? Negative.
Yeah.
And then all of
What
a sudden
did I
you
do
get the
wrong?
phone. Exactly. And all of a sudden you get the phone call and it's 2 days later and it's, whatever, I got caught up and blah, blah, blah. And you go like, oh man, I wasted 2 days on negative self-talk when nothing happened. Nothing bad was going on.
Yeah. That's the problem. What you might call daydream all the time. We make up stories all the time. It's just the nature of thinking, actually. So it's not like there's anything wrong with you. If you're out there listening, there's nothing wrong with you. That's the nature of reality, is that our brains will kind of default to the negative. It's, I don't know, I guess we're socialized to do that or something.
But that's where I think your skills and your area of mind management is really becomes important, because in business, you're reaching out to a customer and then you don't hear back. So you're figuring, okay, what happened? Did the deal go by? Did this happen? Did that happen? And so you start creating unnecessary things. And for example, I sent out a company that I'm mentoring. I'm helping them with some stuff. And I sent out an email to an individual. I didn't hear back. And so I double checked. I started going down the rabbit hole. Did I get the email right? Is the email address right? Is this right? And then all of a sudden I went, stop it. The guy might just be busy. And sure enough, I got an email from him apologizing for not getting back to me. Fortunately, I stopped myself from going down the rabbit hole, but a lot of people do.
I think what I'm doing now, and this is part of my purpose. This is what I do. And it requires certain things, and I can be really unattached to the outcome. And unattachment, it comes from a place of security. So a lot of people do feel insecure. There's worry warts out there.
Yep.
And I think we just really need to train ourselves to remember when we're doing a job, particularly in sales. Number one, hopefully we're enjoying what we're selling, right? That's part of our life purpose. And the second thing is to remember that people are busy. People are distracted. And they're going about their lives. They're responding to 50 emails just like you are. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram or whatever. And if you can just take your action without being attached to the outcome and know that if that person's ready to talk to you or receive your information or whatever, they'll let you know. And you just keep going, right?
So what can people do to work on mind management themselves? And then when does it come for a person like you to get involved and help them take it beyond their I am statements that you can create and post on a wall? I am great, I am successful, and blah, blah, blah. But that only goes so far. So let's go into talk a little bit more of how you help people manage their mind.
The first thing I would probably help someone do is get quiet. And that's really hard for a lot of people. So I would probably guide them into having a deep breath or two. Let's open up our hearts. Let's open up our minds and let's get quiet and let the body feel what it feels for a little bit. The other thing is creating an awareness of your thoughts. Just start practicing noticing your thinking. There's a way you can remind yourself to do that. Like some people put the rubber band on their wrist and they pull the rubber band when they have a negative thought or something like that. There are ways to remind yourself to notice your thoughts. If you forget to notice your thoughts, put it on a sticky note to remind yourself every day to think about your thoughts. Then when you notice your thoughts and you're thinking something that's maybe not true, probably not true, or that's disturbing, know that you can shift. You can shift those thoughts. I think as far as working with me, I would take them much deeper into the language they're using to describe who they are, the language that they use to describe others, and the language they use to describe everything else. And that's deep work. And everything that we do to improve has to do with creating habits, right? So it's just a matter of being reminded sometimes. It's why I keep going back to yoga. Like I've been teaching a long time, but I have to go to classes to remind me that there are certain things that I could bring back to the top of my mind that may have forgotten that reminds me to be stronger or more flexible or whatever it is, even in my mind.
So mind management, for example, putting it into a business environment is reminding yourself to acknowledge people because the team, acknowledging
Yes.
them, recognizing them, because you can be caught up into yourself and overlook what the team is doing as a leader. Sometimes you need to probably reset your mind and say, okay, I need to take time I got issues going on at home. I've got health issues, whatever it is that can be happening. I got business issues. I still need to lock that up for a moment and go out to the team, recognize them, appreciate them, put myself out there, even though I'm having a bad moment, because the team is the front line to customers. If that whole negative energy flows throughout that whole company because you're having a bad day and it impacts everybody else, it's going to affect the business. And there's no way you're going to generate super fans that are going to be talking about that business, what a great experience they had. It's going to be the opposite, what a horrible experience they had.
Yeah, I think it's the leader's job to be grounded in something positive and to have reminders for themselves, to have practices for themselves. I know there's a lot of corporate leaders out there who don't have any kind of a spiritual practice or anything that grounds them and reminds them that their employees, their teams are equals to them, not in the hierarchy of the company, but as humans.
Right.
And all humans want to belong. They all want to have purpose and meaning. They all want to feel like they're part of the team and making a difference. And as a leader, you have to be doing that yourself. You have to do some personal development and work if you want to help others along. And then the other piece of that is if somebody's struggling, you got to nurture them. You got to help them see their strengths and utilize them as they have these strengths. And if they have weaknesses, help them build those.
It's the same thing for the employee, because let's say it's a customer service person. It's on the phone to help people who's got a problem. If they can't manage their mind because they've had a bad night, they've got whatever, they got an argument with a significant other, whatever is going on, they've got to compartmentalize that and learn how to do that, because like I mentioned, that's going to come across to whoever they're talking on the other phone who's already got a problem. So now you're going to have two negative situations, which is going to result in an unhappy outcome.
Probably the hardest part for someone like a customer service representative would be dealing with the other person on the other end of the line who might be rude, mean, and even the best managed mind has trouble with dealing with people like that. Nobody wants to be attacked. So yeah, it would be good if anyone on the team has some grounding and comes to work with a good attitude and wants to be part of the team and all of that. And they can learn to manage their mind equally. And especially if they want to advance, especially if they want to move up the ladder, they need to work on themselves and they need to really get clear on their abilities and the realities of moving upward and that kind of thing. Because sometimes in corporations, there is upward mobility and sometimes there isn't. And to get clear on that and to understand the reality of the structure is a good idea too.
Customer service is where mind management really becomes very important in the business. Is you're dealing with people that's calling you because they have a problem. That's an area I think that you could probably help some businesses from that aspect as well, is teaching their call centers or their support team on ways of managing the mind and not taking it personally and understanding that person is frustrated and that's why they're calling you.
Yeah.
How to shut the personal part of it off and not take it personally, which is, how could somebody do that?
How could somebody train somebody to do that?
For example, how do you keep it from taking it personally? What advice could you have on that?
I feel like you have to have a strong sense of self to not take things personally. And that takes some training too. It takes somebody to tell you, this isn't personal. Even though it might feel like it in the beginning, especially with your first couple of experiences dealing with the public in that way, and to be reminded over and over again, this is part of customer service. Sometimes we have irate customers. They're unhappy for whatever reason. Our job is to make them happier. And here's what we're going to do. You follow this protocol. And then if you're really struggling, go to management before you lose your mind. Get some help, get some support if you're struggling.
I think management should give that person a break so that they can manage their mind, decompress, shake it off, and get back in the game.
I love that idea. If there could be a room in every office where you could just go and punch a pillow or take 5 deep breaths or shake out your body. That's a great idea, Freddy. I like that.
The person going, okay, go walk around the building or go walk around the floor. Do something just to clear your mind before getting back on the phone and taking another negative phone call. I just thought of customer support as that's a challenging job. And teaching your team to be able to manage their minds so that frustrated person that's calling for support feels, wow, these people handled it. They didn't get upset with me. They handled it well. They were calm or else. This is a great company. That's how you create super fans of people that have a problem.
Yeah, I agree. That front line is very important. to the company, to the overall happiness of the customer. And like you said, to creating super fans. Because we all have experiences of, had both. We've had really frustrating experiences with customer service, or we're not getting our needs met. And sometimes we've had really great ones. And it's those great ones that create the super fan.
Absolutely correct. Yep.
It's those that create loyalty. And that's what we want as business people. We want loyal, happy customers.
But you got to take care of the mind.
You got to take care of the mind. And you know what? A lot of people don't even think where the mind comes from. It's in the brain, right? We got to take care of our brains too. The brain needs food. The brain needs certain kinds of fats. It needs nutrients. A lot of times we're messing with that. We're messing with it with alcohol and drugs and not enough sleep and allowing ourselves to be stressed out. But the brain, it has such an important job in terms of managing the entire body. It's budgets for the body. Oh, I need to pay a little more attention to the heart now, or I need to send a message through the central nervous system, or I need to regulate this. It's always working. And yes, we want to pay attention to the mind, and we want to also pay attention to how we're supporting what creates the mind.
And words are important for the mind.
Yes.
Because you can have negative words and you can have positive words.
Yeah.
Words matter.
Look at an example. Let's say there's a customer service rep who's just got low self-esteem, and the thoughts that are in their mind are, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I don't have this, I don't have that, or whatever. I think they need to be reminded that they don't need fixing. They're fine the way they are, and they need to really focus on who they are, and who they are as a human being, worthy of love and attention and education and skill development and all the things. Once they come to a realization of who they are, they can stop tearing themselves down. But that can take years too. If somebody's really struggled with some trauma.
Oh, yeah, totally. I agree.
The other thing is, if you are struggling with really low self-esteem, depression, trauma, whatever, then get some help, get some therapy, especially if you have insurance that covers that. Do that so that you can get to a really high functioning place and you can manage your mind even better.
I'll share a story here. Is I work with a person that had depression issues. I was in a management role, and she felt she was not worthy. She had a low self-esteem, and she's had better days in her life, and now she's not happy where she's at in life and all that stuff. There's days where she would just disappear out of the office because she just couldn't make it in. And she would apologize, all that stuff. What I did is I never beat her up on it. I actually empowered her by giving her more responsibilities because I believed in her. She would make mistakes, and I'd say, hey, we all make mistakes. That's part of learning. So I turned the negatives into positive. I says, hey, look, if you wouldn't be making mistakes if you weren't trying and working at it. So good, keep up the good work. And I gave her more responsibilities. And I started saying, okay, you come up with ways to run this area. It completely transformed her from somebody that had low self-esteem, low outlook on themselves, to where they were back to being put together. They lowered their medications that they were coming to me. Look what I accomplished. Look what we pulled off. Look at this. It was really transformative, all because I changed her mind outlook. I basically helped manage her mind, for lack of a better way of wording it, but I really transformed the way she looked at herself, made her look at herself as a leader.
Yeah. I think that's what people need, is for leaders to look at people and say, this person has every bit of potential that I have, and we just need to get them to see it. And by what you did, giving her more responsibilities and encouraging her and helping her to be utilizing those gifts and talents that she has, is definitely going to help her mental state for sure.
She's my biggest super fan today. Yeah, she gave me a big write-up on LinkedIn and everything else because I helped her manage her mind. Every time she was going down the rabbit hole, I blocked it from going down the rabbit hole. Oh, here's another thing that I need you to do. You're my go-to person. I'm counting on you. Once you start empowering people, they're not going to want to let you down.
Can I share a story of a client that I had?
Absolutely.
So this client came to me because she was thinking of leaving her job in her career. And she was a little bit distraught because she'd been in it a long time. She was a project manager in a construction company, which is a really male-dominated industry. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they definitely have different energies that men and women bring to the table in that industry. We talked about all the things, like what would she do if she left this job? What could she make the same kind of money? Would she have to go back to school? What were all the possibilities out there for her if she left her job? And ultimately what it came down to is she had some bad thinking. She had some bad thinking about herself and some beliefs about herself that she got in like 4th grade from a teacher or something like that. It was just over conversation. And also what I saw in her was that she was a rock star. First of all, she's very introverted and shy and quiet, right? I knew her for a while, and I knew that this gal is not outgoing. She's struggled with that. But I saw her as a rock star. I said to her, you're a woman in a male-dominated industry, and you've been kicking rear end in this business. You have all these skills. You're just worried about what people are thinking, or I don't know, but we got to work on that. We got to work on your mind. It turned out she ended up staying with her job. She did not leave. She did not go off to get another degree. She was like, you know what? I like this enough. I'm going to stick it out. I'm just going to think differently.
And where's she today? Still there?
She's still there. She's still project manager. I ran into her at a store not too long ago. She said she's doing great. So that's another thing I help people do.
And that's important. That's really important because her whole life could have been upside down because she may not have found another job that was as well paying, or it may have taken her 6 months to find the job.
Or she might have had to go back to school or whatever. So I do feel like as her coach, I saved her time, grief, and money.
Like we talked before, an individual's reality, right or wrong, is their reality, and most of the time it's wrong. So you helped her correct her perceived reality.
Yes.
So that's great. That's wonderful. So Lisa, how can people find you?
I do have a website, and I offer a lot of free stuff. It's called Lisa Kneller Coaching. I'm sure you'll have that in the show notes. Lisa Kneller Coaching /free stuff. The free stuff is guides, BFs. I have a top 3 questions to ask yourself during any life transition. I have a whole PDF on the body budget, things like that. So people can find me through there. They can also find me on my podcast called My Golden Life, and that is on Apple and Spotify and LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all under Lisa Kneller or Lisa Kneller Coaching.
Okay, excellent. It's been wonderful having you on the Business Superfans podcast. Been a great guest, great conversation, because it's a very important topic. Mind management is a very important topic, especially in today's world where there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things happening with the fires going on and some of the weather conditions and stuff like that. So mind management is probably more prevalent today than it ever was.
Yeah. Thank you, Freddy. I really appreciate you having me on as a guest. And I wish you the ultimate success as you help people build superfans all over the world.
Thank you, Lisa. And we'll look to have you on a show down the road.
All right. Sounds great.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to today's Business Superfans podcast. If you found value in our dive into creating superfans for lasting success, show some love, hit like, and subscribe for future episodes, and share with your network to spread the insights. Your support is everything and fuels more content to boost your business success. Stay tuned, Superfans Superstars. Thank you for tuning in to today's Business Superfans podcast. If our exploration of creating superfans for lasting success struck a chord with you, show some love. Like us, subscribe for future episodes, and share with your network to spread the wisdom. Your support fuels us to craft more valuable content for your business success. Keep rocking, Superfans Superstars. Attention business owners. Are you looking to transform your employees, customers, and business allies' relationships and elevate your brand to new heights? Join the Business Superfans Accelerator today. Led by me, Freddy D, this dynamic mentorship program empowers you to turn your stakeholders into passionate superfans, the ultimate brand advocates who actively promote your business. Imagine a community of dedicated supporters promoting promoting your products or services not just through word of mouth, but as proud champions of your brand. With exclusive access to monthly Q&A sessions, brainstorming opportunities, and valuable resources like online courses, playbooks, and much more, this program is designed to provide you with the tools you need for sustainable, profitable growth. Don't wait. Every moment you delay allows your competition to get ahead. Sign up now at bizsuperfans.community and start unleashing the potential of your superfans today. Your brand's transformation awaits. Let's make business growth your reality.
We hope you took away some useful knowledge from today's episode of the Business Superfans Podcast. The path to success relies on taking action. So go over to businesssuperfans.com and get your hands on the book if you haven't already. Join the Accelerator community and take that first step in generating a team of passionate supporters for your business. Join us on the next episode as we continue guiding you on your journey to achieve flourishing success in business.